Hello and welcome everybody to a new podcast, Chris Checks Out. This is where I'm going to start checking out interesting store apps, ServiceNow products, and capabilities. And on the first episode, we've got Ty Roach, who is the founder of Tiger LLC. So thank you so much for joining us, Ty. We're
Thanks,
going to
Chris.
be checking out the app Checklist Pro. So tell us a bit about yourself.
My name's Ty Roach. I am a lifelong software developer. I started working with ServiceNow in 2012, which was Aspen at the time. I founded Tiger, which is TYGR, in 2017. And in 2019, we became a build partner with ServiceNow. And that's when we introduced Checklist Pro to the store. And Checklist Pro is our no-code, low-code certified ServiceNow store application, and it gives cost-saving options, risk-reducing options, and time-saving options to developers solving problems on the ServiceNow platform.
Oh, that's incredible. And their website is checklistpro.app, A-P-P. So we're going to cover in this 30-minute episode, there's many, many features of Checklist Pro. So in fact, we were just talking earlier today, and we're probably going to set up a second episode if this goes well and Ty likes me. So the first thing is the first three features we want to cover are adding a checklist to any table. So that's one of the key features. It doesn't have to be the task table or a table that's off of task. So any table can have a checklist now. You can also have a centralized checklist for a group. So let's say we send out an approval to 5 people in a group. They can all update the same checklist and see each other's updates in real time. And we have the ability to have a checklist with different data types so that we could have a drop down, we could have a date field, a reference. It's actually more than just a checkbox. So Checklist Pro does a lot more than that. So let's set the stage here a bit for how this podcast is going to work. Ty has a demo instance through his build partner company, Tiger LLC, and he has Z-booted an instance and installed Checklist Pro, and he's configured a service catalog item with a flow for it, and that's it. So we have not configured the app at all. We have not built anything in it, and you'll see some of the pre-work that we've done. But the idea is that we're going to walk you through how quick and easy it is to actually implement this thing and get a use case done. So, Ty, without further ado, if you wouldn't mind sharing your screen.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, I think you killed it there.
I killed it, huh?
Not bad. Yeah, that's okay. So the first thing that we're going to cover are configuring the Checklist Pro Store app. So we're going to add it to a service portal, to Employee Center.
Okay.
We're going to
I
do
need to share. Do you need
you
to
need to reshare if you don't mind.
Let me reshare.
Then we'll do the approval page. We'll add it to an approval page in the platform UI. We will add it to the approval page in the catalog task, and then also on the service portal page.
Okay.
Okay. So here
Awesome.
we are. So Ty, why don't you walk us through adding the checklist piece, the app, to a service portal menu, and that's the menu at the top. At the top.
That's correct. So right out here, you'll have these are your menu items. And so if we're going to introduce a checklist menu item, we would go here under Service Portal, Menus, whether it's Checklist Pro or your own app, you would go here and you would say Header Menu. And as Chris, I think, mentioned, we've installed it and we're just doing these post-installation configuration steps one time, just so you're up and running with the app. We're going to come down here to the Angular template related list, the SP drop-down tree menu. I am going to cut and paste something out of our user guide. You just saw me pop that block in there right there. That is going to create our option for a checklist menu item to appear on the service portal if there is a generation of one of our checklist native checklist records, which would be a checklist approval or a checklist assignment. So it's there. That's an important step for us to do.
And you don't have to write that code. Comes in the documentation. It is literally a copy paste.
Correct.
Okay, and that is it. It is now on the portal, right?
Correct.
Okay, can you show it? I don't know if I
Well,
understand.
it functions very much like
Yeah.
the approval. So, for instance,
Right.
if you get an approval, if you don't have approvals are here too, but you don't see them because you don't have an approval. But
Right.
if you had a checklist assignment record, or if you had a
Hmm.
checklist approval record, that would suddenly pop up the checklist menu item. And we're not doing that today. We're going to
Yeah.
do approvals, and then we're going to do catalog tasks. But
Yeah.
if you look at the various UIs to see those,
Okay.
base classic UI, and we'll use the service portal to look at approvals. So
Perfect.
we've
Okay, let's add it to Employee Center. That's the next one.
yeah. So let's go over to now. We're going to say portals, and again, this is pretty standard. Like you would do this if you were going to create your own menu item under Employee Center or in Employee Center. So we're going to first go to this Employee Center course scope, and that's going to open up this main menu option and let us drill down into it. So we're going to open this record here. I'm going to scroll to the bottom in the related list area and click the more. And now we're going to have to switch scopes real quick here and go to Employee Center. So it'll be editable. And we're going to add our checklist, just like we did for Service Portal. We're going to do this. We're going to call it checklist. We'll make it order just slightly to the right of everything. And here we have our checklist Pro page for you can see ESC. That's the one that you want. We're
Yeah.
going to go ahead and submit that.
And
And
that page is pre-installed with the
yeah,
application as well. Okay.
correct. Yeah, and if
And now
we'll
we
just
go
I'm just
to
going
Employee
to we
Center.
can check it real quick if you want just to
Yeah.
see like this one works a little different, and it might be just worth noting. Like here we're going to do ESC. So, there you see the checklist even though there's
Yeah.
no checklist items there right now.
Right.
There's nothing there. So,
Okay.
uh,
So that's as quick and as easy as it is to get it into the Service Portal and Employee Center with
correct.
a couple minutes. All right. Now we have a few more things to do. So in the platform UI,
Yes.
how would I add this to the approval page?
So we'll go to the approval record. Approver. I can remember that one. And so we're covering all the different UI types. And so in here, classic UI, we will say configure form layout. That's what I usually do. And we will just come down here. We have a formatter, which will appear everywhere. It's global.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to just add it. We're going to just pop it under the comments. And so if there's no checklist, you don't see it. And
Right.
Chris, we'll just add it also to the SC task too.
Yes, that's right. So a simple form edit allows you now to add it in the platform view for any table that you want to have linked to a checklist. So that's
Correct.
the purpose of showing how quick and easy it is for this. And it's funny that I also never clear the UI builder message.
Yeah, I never do that. I don't know. It gets me every time. I know.
But I also not now.
Yeah, not now. Right.
For me, for you UI builders out there, keep at it. You
Yeah.
are a much better adopter than I am sometimes. All right. So that covers the platform UI. That was super quick, super easy. The last one I'd like to see is how would we add this to a page on the service portal?
Yes, and this is important. So you would go to the service portal. This is how I recommend you do it. You go to the service portal, and we know if you want to see checklist records, just like we added it, you have to add it to the page that you're looking at, the UI you're looking at. So here I'm going to hold down my control key, right click, and say Page Designer from the service portal, and we're going to go ahead and go to the approval form because we're going to be on that page, and we're going to look for our Checklist Pro widget, and we're just going to kind of drag that over here. So now whenever we have an approval that has a checklist, we're going to see it. And Chris, while we're at it, not that I think we're going to do this, but I recommend it in our installation guide. I say that we also add it to the general form page that ServiceNow has created. So now any table, you just say parameters, table equals whatever table it is, ampersand sysid equals the record, and you can see it then in the service portal. So now we're done.
Remember everyone that if there is no checklist to show on that record, then this won't show up anything. It won't display at all. So you can put it onto these pages knowing that it's not like going to generate a blank space with 4, checklist : empty after that.
Correct.
So that's as quick and as easy as it is to do this implementation on the Platform UI Service Portal. And I believe it is already done in the baseline application for Employee Center. So
Yes.
after you install this app, you would have it on the pages for Employee Center. Is that
This is
accurate?
correct. Yeah.
Great.
And
Okay.
of course,
So,
you could tweak
oh,
it too. Like just,
mhm.
if whatever, if you have a new page that you need to show a checklist on, you just simply add our widget there. So
Yeah,
whether it's Employee Center or any of the UIs, and we haven't talked about workspaces, but we have a custom component, and we'll show you that towards the end, I think.
a little later. That's right. Okay. So let's get into it. So after that 5 minute setup, and installing the app actually takes about 4.5 minutes, but we didn't want to have everyone watch a progress bar.
Yeah.
So we're going to be creating a new checklist and applying it to a catalog item, and
Yep.
we'll apply it to the catalog items group approval so we can showcase the group piece of it. And then we're going to cover applying it to a catalog task for the fulfillers piece. So where did you go to get to this list?
So under the Checklist Pro application, there's the template configuration. That's what I just
Mm-hmm.
clicked. It took me
Yeah.
here. And there's two things that we have to do whenever you're creating checklists. You create the template configuration is a container that holds all your template items that represent your checklist, however many you want. And that's what's going to instantiate the checklists that appear on your tables. So the first thing we're going to do is we have our group approval, and it's our onboard case. So we're going to say new hire, new employee approval. And new in our latest release is this HTML field, and we're gonna take advantage of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I have off on my other screen here HTML from a Word doc that I'm just going to save here, so I don't have to type all this out. But this is just an HTML field. You have all the tags and stuff right here. I just click this to go to the source code, cut, paste in there, and now
can you go back to the source code? Just show us that. I just wanted to speak on that a little bit.
Yeah,
so
sure.
This is basic HTML. You could copy and paste this from a website, clean it up a bit, and you see we've got headers, an unordered list, and list items in there, and also a nested list item. Yep. So it really is super friendly. You could also build it in the WYSIWYG editor right there.
Yep.
And then go ahead. You would click save to create it. And
we'll save it. And so now you can see, okay, now we got the record in the system. We don't have any of our Checklist Pro template records yet, but that's what this HTML to checklist button does. Gives you a little warning that says, hey, you're going to overwrite it. But there was nothing there. So, there it is. And you can even see like the sub checklist allowed to telework, has those items. So it just took care of all that. And personally, I love it because I just stay on one screen and I can just do it. So.
Right. That's super, super cool, quick and easy. So if you have those HTML lists already, or you just want to build them quickly, and then you don't have to actually go in and do the actual entries into those template records. And that's the point of this. Now I see a couple things here though, Ty, that I'd like to mark up. So I understand you have your own markup language. We're not going to run through all of that today, but it is fully documented on the site and in the tool. So there's a great package. He sent me over the PDF instruction guide, covers all of this stuff. But when I'm looking at new employee approval, security clearance level needed for employee, that is the top one.
Right.
That seems like it should be more than just a checklist or a checkbox.
Right.
And then you see the one below that, date clearance. That should not be a checkbox either. That should be a date field. So let's talk a bit about this markup language. And can you mark those two up so that we have a drop-down list for the security clearance, and then convert that other one to a date, and maybe make one of them required?
Yeah, let's do that.
Sure.
I think that makes sense. So I'm going to go back into the editor here, and I have the markup just nice and quick for us. So we'll save it so you can see it, and you'll see here what Chris was talking about, our Checklist Pro markup language right here. It just added the square bracket data. That won't appear when you're visually looking at it. That's just instructions to Checklist Pro to say, hey, little r required. The C is a choice list. Here's your choice items, and the next one is a D, capital D, and that's your date. So we'll go ahead and save this, and then we'll generate the checklist from this. It's going to change everything. It's warning me, and so now it did. There's our choice list. There's our date, and of course, if we go in there, we're going to see here's our choice items that it just kind of built for us. And again, like I just like it because I can just stay right here on one page and just build it all now. So it's easier.
And build it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool and so powerful. Now, when we're doing these types of markups and you're already have active checklists. Oh, nice picture of the family. Yeah. Say
Oh,
hi to
sorry.
Ty's family. That's
Is
okay.
it still up or is it?
It's good. No, you're good. You're good. It's back to the thing. So when we're building all of these things and you have already checklists in flight, you may have to do some data modification on them to do these markup pieces after you go live. So just want to call that out. We're not going to cover it here because the purpose is a fresh install, and new checklists that don't exist and don't have any instances will already be fine with that. You're not going to have to do the data stuff.
Right.
Okay, so let's see. We've done the HTML to copy paste feature. That is a new one, I believe. And you're certified in Yokohama, correct?
We are.
Yeah, so that's one of the new features, just recently certified in Yokohama, I believe in July. We showed that automation creation. We marked it up. Okay, so now I think we have to do the checklist configuration records.
Right. And so just so you have an understanding, we've just created something that is used for instantiating checklists. You define what your checklist look like. This next step, this checklist configuration, we're going to have to, this is the governance rules around when a particular checklist should be created, who can edit it, when is it considered closed. So for like required item enforcement, we're just going to walk through that right now for our group approval. Okay. So we'll say new employee group approval. And it's a standard checklist type. There's 3 types. We're going to talk about another one in just a second. And here we have to say what table, sys approval group. Okay, so it's the group approval table. We're going to pick our checklist because this is where our checklist is going to live. It's actually going to live on the group approval record, even though users are looking at user approvals. We're going to talk about that in just 1 second. I'm going to show you some best practice. What we recommend is we're going to say parent requested item because we're putting it on an approval record, and we kind of want to just say, well, you might have many group approvals out there. Let's associate this one with the onboard, our onboard catalog item. So that's going to narrow it down, and then we're going to just say sysid. We just want this thing created. So when the sysid is not empty, we're going to go ahead and create it. And
that's creating the instance of the shared checklist. So correct. That's the creation conditions, cover that, and then go ahead. Yeah. So edit conditions.
I'm going to say the edit conditions sysid is empty. And you might be like, Ty, it's always going to have a value. And I say, exactly, because I don't want anybody editing our checklist on the group approval record. I want them doing it on their user approval record. So right. Remember, this is the repository where all the shared people are going to look. So they're all looking off one sheet of music, right? It's this right there. It's on this group approval table. And now we're going to introduce some closed conditions because we have required items. So we need to know when this thing is done so we can do any required item enforcement. This is going to create a business rule for us, or it's going to prompt us to create one. And you're going to get this message the first time you do it. We don't have a business rule yet created. So I'm going to click this hyperlink on that pop-up. And it's going to take you to the business rule it ran our template for this case. And we'll say let's name it nicely, sys approval group. And then we'll say here, sys approval group. That's the table. And it's just all this stuff was just, has our little bit of a code that goes in there. So that's going to do the enforcing. So we did that. Now I should be able to click close conditions. Yes, there they appear. We're going to say enforce this. And this is when is this thing considered complete? Well, when it's one of these, when the state is one of these. Right. So that's going to take care of our group approval. And now we have to create user approvals because people...
So just one more piece before you keep going. So that closed condition business rule thing, once you do it for one table, you're done. So don't think you have to do that every single time. So for the group approval table piece, once you do it once, and it is really just naming, putting in the name, picking the table, clicking submit, you don't have to do it again. Correct. So go ahead for the user approval piece. And this is the one that the people are going to interact with.
That's
and how they
correct.
get it. Yes.
So it's a little bit of an advanced case. You're doing a share.
Mhm.
I always think of shared checklist as a little bit more advanced. So we had to first create our standard checklist because that's where the actual real checklist lives. It lives on the group approval. We are now dealing with the records that people are actually functioning with, which is the user approval, and those reference the shared checklist. So this is a different table. This is the sys approval approver table. Okay. And just give it an order here. That helps with precedence when you have a lot of things going on. And we're going to start doing like we did before. Okay. Best practice, show my fields. I'm going to just say approval for is requested item. And it's our onboard item. That in case you have many catalog items and many approvals, well, this is kind of gets you to the right ones, right? And then here we're going to say, we're going to create this when the state is requested, okay? Then edited, when can you edit this thing or who can edit it? We're going to say the state, our checklist is only editable if the state is requested.
Right.
And it's only editable by the approver, do the dynamic one, is me. And then we're going to do our close conditions here. Same thing's going to happen. I'm going a little fast because I don't want to, we've seen this before. And then I'm going to just say here, sys approval approver. I mean, you can actually call it anything you want, but that's our suggestion for you.
You might be the only one I know on the planet that gets it right every time. I always do sysapprover _ approval in front of people.
Well, thanks. You can tell I do this a lot. So here we go. So now we're going to say conditions, and let's get in here with closed conditions. Yes, we want to enforce it. We're going to say when the state, this thing is considered closed when the state is not requested. That seems to make sense to me. There's this new thing that shows up here, Chris. There's shared conditions because we have a shared checklist. That's the time it will show up. So we have to say, well, what table is this thing referencing, right? So sys approval group. That's the sys approval group table that we just configured. Which checklist on that table is it? It's the one that we just built. And how do we dot walk from here to there? So it's looking and seeing, is there anything referencing a sys approval group table? Yes, this group field. So now we did it. We'll submit this. We got it all set. And Chris, I'm just going to go ahead and run it.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to submit a catalog item that contains a group approval and a single task after it's approved. So here we are. This is a pre-built one, but any catalog item could be used.
Yep, exactly. If you this was our scenario here. It's very simple. Here's our onboard. I did a little logging here so that I could remember, okay, this went to the HR group and it select people from the HR department or in that group. And here's the people. And that's going to let me sort of more easily find, if I haven't timed out yet, I'm going to impersonate Ashley here.
So now we're going to put the approver hat on. One of the approvers in the groups is Ashley Parker. And let's see what she would see here. So you see now we see it.
Yep. There's the approval. And here you can actually see the checklist, right? So we popped it on there. Like you saw, we dragged the widget on there. And here's our items, here are our choice items. Here's our date picker. We can put this out here. And here's our telework, and we can just pick our options because these were just check boxes. So I want to do one other thing, Chris, because this is a shared one. I want to
one question before you do. What happens if I uncheck allowed to telework?
Okay, that's a great question. If you uncheck that, everything, if it's a sub checklist, and it could be end deep. If you uncheck the record, it's everything underneath that disappears because it's contained within there. And if you recheck it, the values are cleared. So
that's a nice touch. And that is client-side data validation. And you always want to push as much data validation to the client side so that your flow and everything in the back end can trust what's being input. So that's a great attention to detail there, Ty. So
thanks.
Just wanted to call that out. So now that was Ashley Parker who filled in a few of things. Let's go into another user that's in the approver group and see what they see. Roger.
Yeah, let's do Roger. So now I'm now impersonating Roger. Let's just make
Yeah.
sure his name switches. There he
Yeah.
is. And you're like, wait a minute, he can't edit this thing. That's because he's looking at Ashley's record. If he looks
Yeah.
at his record, we don't want Roger updating Ashley's, but
Yeah.
Roger can update his.
Right.
And if he just says, not Monday, and I'm going to go ahead and click approve here, Chris, because this is going to test out how well we built our,
Yeah.
enforcement, our
Red
and
errors.
boom, red errors. Oh no, but
Yeah.
that's what we wanted because you
That's
didn't
right.
complete the required field. So
Mm-hmm.
if we go ahead and just say something like, hey, secret, now it's
Mm-hmm.
complete. Now we can approve it and it's done and
That's
it's
right.
been approved. And now no more marking up your checklist. We feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
good governance and controls around your checklist. And it's now on to the service desk group for them to set up an email, and we're going to create
That's
one
right.
more checklist for
Right.
that one.
Okay. Great. So yes, let's go ahead and do the catalog task checklist.
Okay. So let's come back in here. We're going to create a new one, and we're going to say new employee email setup, and we're going to use our handy dandy cut and paste from my other monitor just to save some time here. And you'll just see new hire email setup, and it has different items there. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to generate the HTML to the checklist. It's going to go ahead and create those items. You'll see a few new things, like here's our reference field. We got a reference to a user table. We got a string, a more choice list, a number of fields. So, we're starting to just show some of the different data types.
That's right.
We're going to come over here and build our new configuration.
And this part he's going to go through quickly. While we are not sponsored by Paste Picante Sauce, we will be picking the pace up to make sure that we're on time.
Exactly. So, good one. You've done this before, I think. So, we're going to go ahead and grab what we just created here. And this one will be faster because it's just the one record we have to do. So we're going to say, again, same deal. Show requested item. And we're going to say item. There it is. We want for our onboard. Because you might have many catalog items, right? And many catalog tasks. Well, you want to get this is where you're deciding which checklist are you going to pick. So you say onboard, and for the state is let's say one of open or work in progress. And we're going to say here, because you might have many, short description. Imagine you might have many catalog tasks in a real workflow, right? Well, we want to pick the right one to put the right checklist on. So I think we started with setup email, and then we're going to do our edit conditions. We're going to say where the state is one of these two. And we're going to just say where the assignment group, let's just do it like this, where the assignment group is dynamic is one of mine. Yeah. And then we got to do the same thing with the close conditions.
Now, while you're doing that, we do have a question from David Bruck. So, David, I said I'd get to you. So, he's asking, are you certified for FedRAMP, Government Community Cloud?
In fact, that's a great question. And yes, we are. We have a number of U.S. federal customers running in FedRAMP High environment.
Excellent. Okay, so there's your answer, David.
Great question. Thanks for asking that, David. Okay, so we're going to close this down, and now we're going to do our close conditions, and we're going to just come over here, say enforce, and this thing is the state is one of the close complete guys, or the close ones, active, submit. Now we should be at this point to the service desk group, which I happen to know is Beth. So we're going to impersonate Beth Anglin. She's in the service desk group. There she is.
So we're putting our fulfiller hat on.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
How are we doing on time? Are we okay? I hope.
We're at the end. So
oh boy,
but we're going to finish.
All right, we're going to get there.
Yeah.
So let's just go to the classic UI first. SC task.list. Actually, you know what? What am I doing? I should say. Probably you would say there's my groups, right? Whatever. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
so my group work. There it is. There's our guy. This one here, and it's
just wait. It does render. Yeah,
It's going to
there we
render.
are.
There
Yep.
we are. And so we're going to start, checking things, check, pick a date, whatever.
Yeah.
But let's, Chris, if I can, because I know we're short on time, I want to show you
Hmm.
the workspace view. So we have our own
Yep.
workspace UI.
Oh no, we'll run a little longer. That's fine.
Okay, good,
So
good.
so finish the task, close that off, and then we've got a few other pieces to get to, and then we'll
Great.
look at the workspace.
So the one thing we have, since it's our own workspace, it ships with the product. We
Yep.
pre-built all or as many of the commonly occurring places where people put checklists, and catalog task is one of them. So here it is, and here you can see we added this. This is just our checklist component. We just put it out there, and so you come out here, and you can see it. You can mess with it, and that's it. Here's all your different stuff, and you can close it, and we're done.
That's right. Yeah. And you can add this to any workspace. There's instructions in the implementation guide to help you do that. It is reasonably easy to do. So
Yeah.
make sure that you go and know that the documentation on this is very, very good. It is very easy to follow. The screenshots are updated. You could build it just like we did. So
and there's YouTube videos too for you.
That's right. That's right. There is a YouTube channel as well. So I know this one went through quickly, but if you would like a little bit of a slower one, or you can always come back here, pause it, just like I do. Tech Now, episode 33 for Glide Ajax. Watch it, pause it, fill it out, keep moving. You can do that with this one as well. So there may be a couple more questions coming in.
Okay.
So as they do, we'll answer those. Okay. So, our first comment was, what a beautiful Checklist Pro custom component. So, Julian, thank you so much.
What a beautiful one. Thank you, Julian.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, first thing is, we have a Checklist Pro customer as well. So, first things before we get to David's question, which will come up next, is how do people buy this?
Good question. So, if you would go to this, there's a couple options. Here it is on the store right here. Yep. Can we see this? Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So you would come into here and you could try it or buy it. And if the purchasing options these are all provided by ServiceNow through the store. You can buy by credit card through the store. You can talk to your account rep and say, I want to include this store item, one of your build partners, with all my ServiceNow stuff. They will handle that. Or, which frankly happens to be the most common case, we go through meetings with the customer. They do an evaluation. They issue us a purchase order, and then we handle it all that way. So that just happens to be the most common way that gets done. But those are the three options for you.
Okay, yeah. So you can buy it with this credit card on the store app, through ServiceNow directly, or directly from your website. Again, that is checklistpro.app. Okay, so how would people schedule a demo?
Well, you could just come right here to our website. Okay, and
sorry, yeah. Website, yes.
Is it showing? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, good. And you scroll down here and come right in here, and there's our calendar, and you can find a date and time that's open slot for you. Get a demo. I highly encourage folks to just ask questions from us. We can tell you stories of how we have a lot more time we can spend with you. So that's how we get started.
David does have another question. So he says, one of the many benefits of Checklist Pro, from what I've read, is the ability to do approvals without the need for an approver user role, which is now rebranded to business stakeholder.
Correct.
Is there a way to get an idea of the cost analysis beforehand on an ROI of what Checklist Pro can do to help us?
Yeah, there is actually. So we have a tool, and we're actually going to be announcing this tool in the next week or so. It's called our ITSM assessment tool. And by the way, so pricing, in case exactly how much does it cost? Well, we have a little pricing calculator here. We're priced one of two ways, either by the ITSM subscription costs, which are your business stakeholders or fulfillers. You plug those numbers in, you'll get your cost. Or you could do active users. How many active users do you have? You do that, you get your cost. And we're always going to give you the better of the two option. So, help me out. What was the question again, Chris?
Sorry, just the benefits, and there's the ROI.
The benefits. So we have a tool called the ITSM assessment tool. It's going to give you it's going to have a its own service portal page where there will be a calculator that'll say you enter how much you pay for business stakeholders and fulfillers and how many you have of each of those. And then you can start to estimate how many do you think you want to try to save, and you got an idea of the value that you're trying to save. And then our tool will go in and look on your instance. If you get this update set from us, you can get the update set from us if you request a demo, and we'll give it to you, and it'll sit there and run, and it will look and say, hey, are your business stakeholders, are they looking at reports? Because if they're not, they might not need to be business stakeholders.
Right.
And so therefore you can use our checklist approval as an alternative and start to do remediation. And the tool itself will identify those, and it will create a nice little graphic for you that shows here's all your approvals and what workflows were catalog items we're we're running them, and it'll look to see that for approvals. And we also added just recently now the same thing for fulfillers, because fulfillers is the same thing. We've noticed over time, a lot of times people get sucked into being ITIL fulfillers when they're really not ITIL people, meaning they're not looking at they're not modifying CMDB records. They're not using other ITSM applications. They're not doing root cause analysis on incidents and updating categories and assigning them. They're only completing work and workflows. However, it's just a big step to go all the way to an ITIL user if all you're ever doing is a little bit of work in the workflow. And again, if those people are looking at reports, well, then you probably still need to be ITIL. But if you're not doing any of that and the tool assesses this, it's going to say you got this many of those and you have an alternative if you do some remediation. And we have partners that can help with that, and we have the tool to get you over the target.
Yeah. So be sure to reach out to Ty. He is not one of the founders that you can never get a hold of. You'll be able to contact him, book some time on the calendar, discuss your specific needs, and find the best path to not just swim with the ServiceNow Current, but also to swim with the ServiceNow Plus Checklist Pro Current. Okay, so we've covered all of the items, how to get it through the store app, your website, you have your contact us page, you have a YouTube channel, so definitely make sure you check that out. Do you have anything cool coming up that you wanted to briefly talk about?
Yeah, so we have we're always having new releases. We're always building more pre-built solutions. We have a whole library of pre-built solutions which we give to our customers, value add things that like essentially data stewardship using a checklist-based solution. So there's going to be more coming there, and of course more features. Love to do another podcast with you to get more in some of these areas, especially the pre-built stuff. I think we have some workspace UI enhancements that are coming as well. That's probably the first thing coming, is the workspace UI enhancements.
Sure.
And I think I can say this now. We're teaming up. We have one of our partners has a third-party AI tool that they're been gracious enough to say, if you do a Checklist Pro purchase between now and the end of September, they're going to give you their AI in the box is the partner, AI in the box. And they're going to give that to the first 3 people that purchase Checklist Pro. So many thanks. Jay Benson, by the way, is he's ServiceNow famous. It's his app, and it is an alternative. Maybe you want to cut your teeth on AI before you dive all the way into Now Assist. Great way to do it. Thank you, Jace. Thank you, AI in the Box, for that partnership. And that offer to do that is very generous to Jace.
And that is, yeah. Oh, that's lovely. I'm hoping that he'll be able to work out being on a future episode as well, because that tool he has is pretty cool.
It is really
all right, one other bonus item. I know we're over a little bit, so thanks everyone for sticking through. If you wanted, if you had to drop, no problem. You can come back and check it out. But I know that you have this ability where you can, one more ability to show, the conditionally showing and hiding a checklist item.
Yeah.
So how would we do that?
Yeah, let's do that real quick. Chris, we're going to go to this user approval configuration down here on this hide or read only. I think a great candidate would be, in this case, it's a very simple no code here. We're going to just say, if our security clearance level, remember we had a bunch of different choice lists. One of them was like top secret. We're going to I think what we should say is, if it's top secret, here's all the pre-built options that we have. We're going to say checklist item value equals, and we're going to just say top secret, and we're going to say right click and save, and then we're going to come down here to the affected item, This is actually pretty important. And we're going to pick the allowed to telework. And now if we go back here and do another order, let's just see this real quick. We'll say onboard, and we'll say Jane Doe, request, go. And let's go over to, where's my edge? Here we go. And let's go over to Ashley, personate Ashley. And let's go over here. She should have a new approval waiting for her. There it is. And so here's our allowed to, telework and so forth. And, if you have no clearance, it's all good. But when we hit top secret, it goes away.
So they chose it availability. So yeah, it's very cool. Very reminds me a lot of the UI policies.
Yeah.
That's a great feature. There are so many more.
So many.
We just scratched the surface. We'll have to do an episode 2 to dive a little deeper into this one. But we basically could have a whole series on this thing. So thank you so much, Ty Roach, again, owner and founder of Tiger LLC. That is TYGR, and supporting his Checklist Pro application available in the ServiceNow store, Yokohama certified. So thank you so much again. Thank you to everybody for joining. We did have some other comments. So Thomas did say that your solution did help them with the business stakeholder and the business approver piece.
Beautiful.
So thank you so much.
Thomas. Appreciate that.
Really appreciate everybody's time. Have a great day and an even better weekend. Okay, we're recording.